everybody, and welcome to a very different Pokemon Wonder. As you can see, we're not even close to anywhere being in the office. The key for today is going to be talking about probably some of the areas that aren't often spoken to enough. There's many aspects of this Pokemon space, whether you're collecting, you're investing, you're just doing it for fun, family, friends, that we don't often talk about the other side of it. And there's many things to take into consideration, and often we paint these as rosy, easy, simple situations, and they're often not. And as with many things, there is a nuance, and the devil is always in those details. In addition to that, you have to think about what's best for you. So this video hopefully will be a short one, but just a little bit to speak to those perspectives that we often don't speak to when we talk about Pokemon, and to make sure that you have a network, you have a community, you have somebody that you can reach out to and ask questions, just kind of bounce some ideas off of, because sometimes we just need to know that somebody's there to support us and has our back. So with that in mind, a few of the key areas are going to be around the gambling aspect. So Pokemon is your opening packs. You don't know what you're going to get. There's a thrill, there's an excitement to it, and that's all good, but within balance. And that's probably going to be the repeating theme of every component that we speak to today, is balance. Life needs balance, both good, bad, ugly, beautiful, everything in between. So make sure that before you put your money into Pokemon, whether, again, it's any one of the aspects that you may be into, collecting, investing, or otherwise, that you have yourself straightened out financially. You have your bills covered, you have your budgets, you're taking care of all the necessities, your family. And then after those things are covered, you're doing things like your savings, your 401k, your other investments. Pokemon, will probably only be a small percentage of what you do, hopefully. And with that in mind, you have a good way to ensure that you're doing this safely. And of course, when you start to have extra cash and you have money that you've already used to cover those other areas, then great. Then you can use your Pokemon money and, expand that to other areas that maybe you want to invest more in within Pokemon. But just make sure you have the basics covered. The other one is going to be probably around the cost that nobody really talks about, or not very often. And that's going to be around actually getting rid of the product. For any of us that are investing or actually buying product to sell at a later date, whether you're flipping or you're investing or you're just determining some point in time of which you're going to try to make money in the future, that doesn't happen quickly. So many of us think, well, those are just going to fly right off the shelf, and in some cases they might. And I hope for all of you that have product and you sell in the future, that does fly right off the shelf and you are able to make that money very quickly. But there's aspects to that you need to keep into account. So what are some of those? Shipping costs. Shipping costs will eat you alive, especially if you're shipping overseas or in long distances. So really try to balance, and we'll have videos in the future around how to optimize your shipping costs, whether you're shipping booster boxes or booster cases or single cards. I'll talk a lot more about that in the coming months, but try to optimize that shipping cost. The other one is obviously going to be taxes. You're going to be taxed, especially when you start to make any large transactions over the course of a year. You're going to have to make sure you cover yourself for taxes. Between taxes and shipping, you're going to eat up a lot. And then in terms of your profits. And then on top of that, you then have the platforms of which you're selling on, whether that's eBay or Amazon or whatever else you may choose to sell your product on. It's going to cost you something. Even if you're doing consignment with ourselves or other people, there's fees associated with this. So you start to combine 5%, 7%, 15%, and then you're looking at 20, 30% of your profits are gone right off the top. So if you had a profit margin that was only 30%, but then you paid upwards of 25 or so percent in all of your fees at the end of the day, and then not to count your time, you may have actually lost. So take this into consideration. Often we don't think about that until it's time to do it. And then sometimes even when we execute and we see the reality, we don't calculate it properly. We don't properly associate the pain and the costs to actual profits, and we kind of sometimes tell ourselves a lie. So make sure you know that those are there up front, because they can suck up all the profits almost immediately. Then the last perspective is going to be probably around network. I was thinking about this a lot, and one of the things that's often hard as you're going through some of these things, whether it's the gambling aspect, whether it's distributing your money, whether it's how you're selling and the profit margins you may or may not make, not having enough people in the network to talk to. So just make sure you reach out. I'm sure many of you are already in great communities already, in addition to the one that we're trying to build here. And make sure you ask questions. Most people are willing to help you. And simply asking is going to open up the door for you. And I bet you thousands of people will throw themselves to offer their help to you and help you make the best decisions possible. And if nothing else, it's good to hear their feedback and hear their perspectives. Of course, then you can make a aggregated or informed decision based on the many points of view that you get. So make sure you ask questions. Our community is always open as well. If you haven't seen it already, we have a great community. We're growing. Hit us up on Discord, hit us up on YouTube, Instagram, whatever your choice is. We're here to support you as well. Bounce an idea off of us, see what we think. You know, we can poll the community and kind of get the best of everybody and help you make an informed decision. So leverage that community to help you make those decisions. And then last but not least, we'll probably talk just a little bit. Sorry for the wind and the background noise, we're outside here. The last perspective is bad actors. So there's a lot of bad actors, unfortunately, in the Pokemon space. I have maybe 1 or 2 videos I'm still thinking about making where I've gotten scammed recently on eBay and for a large amount of money. I'm waiting for some of those to pan out so I can have the final outcomes and, you know, decide how to construct the content around it. But there's a lot of bad actors out there, some of them knowingly, unfortunately. They know what they're doing, they're making bad decisions, and they're just trying to take your money. Especially when you get into the higher dollar items, higher cards, or some of the vintage boxes. You really got to be careful. Again, leverage everything I spoke about thus far, whether it's community, research. Make sure you do those things before you make that decision, because you may actually be stepping into a place where you can't come back from and you've taken a loss. And for some of us, that loss may be that you then step out of the community, you step out of Pokemon because it was too hard for you. And we hate to see that because of a couple of bad apples. So do make sure you do your research, do it well, don't rush, don't make a rush decision. If you feel like you're being rushed, then just stop and don't do it. Do your research, poll the community, make sure you're buying what you know, validate it. If you're not sure, again, ask other people, and we're all gonna be here to help support you and share our experiences. Some of those bad actors are unknowingly, so they don't know enough to know that they're maybe selling fake cards or fake boxes, and they're just passing them through. They bought them at a good price and they thought they were gonna actually sell them back to make a profit and actually disseminate, unfortunately, fake product into the market. So do your research, as I said. Those are hopefully too far and in between the good experiences. I must say that, you know, percentage-wise, my bad experiences are very small. I think I've probably only had 3, maybe 4, you know, really bad experiences when it comes to purchasing and fakes. And most of those have actually already been addressed with buyers and sellers support from eBay, for example, or just being able to make that informed decision there on the spot. Don't do cash deals if you can help it, unless you know somebody and you trust them very much. Be careful with the family and friends payments with PayPal. Go somewhere trusted, someone that has return policies and has a business to stand behind it. Doing some of those side deals with people you don't know or you've never met before can be very dangerous. All right, so I hope this helps. I know it's not necessarily the most optimistic and upbeat video, but these are things that have to be talked about because we talk so much about the positives and the hype and the new sets and the new cards, and it's fun and exciting, but there's a lot to Pokemon and making this a sustainable hobby and a sustainable future that we should talk about more. And this is one of those videos where I just want to take a few minutes to share that with you so that you can think about it and you can make sure that you're making those good decisions as you continue your journey within Pokemon. We thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you like more Pokemon investment content, check out the videos here. Otherwise, if you're interested in more product openings, check out the videos here. We wish you a great rest of your weekend, and we look forward to seeing all of you on the next one.